All right, let's take a look at the garden. Everything's looking good. It looks like everything's taken well to the soil and stuff. Yellow or green squash, I forget. I really should mark stuff down, but yeah, the broccoli and Brussels sprouts are all looking like they're doing like tremendously good. I grabbed some radishes yesterday, pulled some of the radishes out here and ate those. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I think that one is bolting. It's gotten even friggin' taller now. And yeah, you can see the top here. Look at the top, okay? Yeah, it got too hot. It's bolting. Radishes don't like tremendous heat. So I tried to flood it a few times with water to slow them down, cool them down and slow them down. And I think that might have helped because some of these look like they're fine, but then like there's one in this row here. She's starting to pop off here too. I'm gonna just pull that for now. I don't know if that helps to try to pull them. I did notice some of these eating holes. Now these are a little bigger, but like these littler ones, these little like pinprick holes. I think those are like flea beetles. And I uncovered the potatoes. They've been covered up for another week here. And I noticed that the potatoes are having an issue with them. And I believe, pretty sure that's what it is, that it's going to be flea beetles. I need to get my vertical climber in here so they can attach and climb. I'll go help them attach to that. The transplanted lettuce that I pulled from in between the rows here to thin it out some, everything's taken very well. You know, it's a little bit behind, which is fine. Carrots are doing tremendously great here. Watermelons, strawberries still, they're fucking curling. Now strawberries like direct sunlight, right? I don't know, I'll have to look it up, see how many hours of direct sunlight they get. But I'm just trying to, like, is it because they got getting too much sunlight and they're curling just to friggin' cut back? Like, I don't know. Okay, let's, yeah, this is filling in nice. And, okay, so potatoes are looking good here. They are trying to flower. So you see them wanting to flower. We should be popping those off. Let me see if I can find one here that is starting to. I'll have to look in the other bed. All right, let's look in the other bed here. All right. So we are looking for flowering tops, and I want to show you a few things. All right, I'm not seeing one offhand right now, but I'm sure one will pop up. All right, so now we look at our leaves here, and you can see there's some like little pinprick holes. There's some spots that are eaten away like this, okay? That's probably a little bit bigger bug, but you see all these little pinprick holes, right? Tons of them. Now it's really hot right now, so we don't, oh, we do see one right there. Okay, right there. Where are you? Right there in the shade, right below my finger, okay? Oh, it went on the back side of the leaf. Now that's where they like to lay their eggs, okay? Now that's a little flea beetle. Oh, and look at that. Here's our flowers right there, okay? So here's our flowered top. This is when it's a good time to have fingernails, okay? Because you can just pinch it, pop these off, let it biodegrade back down into the soil, okay? Easy peasy. All right, now these flea beetles here, right here, look at that, dude, see? Look at them all, okay? There's like 3 of them right there with the fly. Okay, they're the ones putting the pinprick holes into your potatoes. So a few ways, a few things we can kind of do to eliminate those. And look at that, it's like, what's that, a scale bug there? Whoops, it just flew off. Okay, now there's a, oh, there he goes, he just landed on the lettuce. I think that was called like scaly bugs or something, or scale bugs or something. I'll have to look that up too. But you can see like this little plant here, how much damage they've done to it. You get close. Look at the damage those little flea beetles have done to it. Same with this one here. There's a good chance that these might have some eggs on the back side of the leaves somewhere. I want to say their eggs maybe are orange. I'm not 100% positive. But what we're going to do is I'm going to have to use something on them to eliminate those little flea beetles. The white covering like this doesn't help for something like that, obviously. So you got some options. We could come in here with just like some Dawn dish soap and wash everything off the plants and down, and the dish soap will, I believe they're a soft-bodied insect there. I think it'll kind of mess with them and kill them. I believe. Don't quote me on this. We'd have to just do a little bit of looking up real quick. But what I'm going to personally do, because I've done this in the past, and I know this 100% works, neem oil. I don't know if you guys are familiar with neem oil. You want cold pressed, if you can. There's other things too, like a, I don't know how you say it, like a higher brand or like a higher quality, if it really matters to you that much. I mean, neem is just a good all-around go-to. It's been a good go-to for decades and decades. Okay, Karanja oil. So either one, they're both good. I've used them both. They both do the job at hand that needs to be done. I'll take in, personally, I will mix, like, say a teaspoon or two, a teaspoon and a half to 2 teaspoons in a quart with, I just do like, I don't know, it's probably a teaspoon of like Dawn dish soap or an insecticidal soap. I use Dawn dish soap. It's going to help coat your leaves is what it's going to do. It's going to help that neem spread out and coat everything. And it's also like a, what is it, like a surfactant, you would call it, or emulsifier. It's going to help emulsify that oil, because know how when you mix oil and water, I mean, you can't just spray pure oil on these plants, right? We got to mix it. We're breaking it down. We're putting a teaspoon and a half to 2 teaspoons in a quart of neem cold pressed oil or Karanja oil into water, and you know how those are going to separate. You can shake the living death out of it, and it's going to take a mix in, but then it's going to slowly separate, right? So you mix in just like, I don't know, must be, yeah, probably like a teaspoon's worth. I just squirt a little bit in, so I'm trying to gauge like how much a squirt is for me. But yeah, like a teaspoon of like Dawn dish soap, Joy dish soap, Dr. Bronner's. Like there's a lot of different types of just soaps you could use to help emulsify that oil into the water, so that way it coats these leaves evenly. Okay, now for me, the best time to do it is tonight when the sun goes down. Okay, you don't want to be spraying oil on your plants and having the sun refract and burn the living crap out of your plants here. Okay, we're going to do it at nighttime tonight. Once the sun goes down and it cools down a little bit, all the bugs are going to go to these plants and they're going to find their little spot for the night. Their temperature is going to cool down some. They're going to get less active, and we're going to come in and we're going to hammer this everywhere, the stalks, the underneath. We're going to start with underneath. We're going to aim the sprayer up underneath, because if you spray everything on the top, okay, the weight of the water, the weight of the oil is going to push everything down. You're not going to be able to get to the underneath proper. Okay, and that is going to help eliminate these flea beetles. It's not only going to kill them, it's going to drive them away. Okay, these plants are good and healthy enough to where they can take these bites from the flea beetles right now. But you can see, okay, you see the green here. I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but you can see this plant is more damaged, a lot more yellow. Okay, these little guys, they're super damaged, a lot smaller, and they're not picking up as quick as they should. Okay, it's because of the damage. Right now they are in defense mode, saying we're being eaten and destroyed alive. We got to figure out a way to save ourselves. So they're conserving energy and trying to fight off these pests themselves, and they can't. Okay, you got to help them. So here's another one of those. I'm pretty sure it's called a scale bug or something, scaly bug or something. I'll have to check and see. They're probably the ones, if they're on here, that are leaving these bigger holes for damage. But you can see these things are just covered in those flea beetles, and they fly, zip around and stuff. I think I've read stuff before where they tell you to go around and shake all your plants and knock all the flea beetles down and then spray whatever down around the ground and stuff. No. Neem. Now I buy, God, what is it? 32 ounces a quart. of neem, and that'll last me all season into the next season, okay? I can probably get 2 seasons out of just 1 quart. You don't have to apply it that much. I think they probably recommend once a week or once every 2 weeks, like most things. You don't want to overdo it. Less is more, okay? Less is more. So usually, I don't find I have to reapply it on week 2 or a week later and stuff. That one time done really well, starting right from the bottom of the plant. Okay, it's going to take a little bit of time. It's not going to be just quick, come in here and just spray them down and walk away. All right, got to come in here with your sprayer. Got to get down in here to the bottom. Okay, we got to spray the underneath, spray the tops, spray the underneath, spray the tops, spray the underneath, spray the tops, and we got to go to every single plant and do that. Okay, every single plant. If you don't, they're going to move to the one you don't. Okay, easy fix, easy fix. So I'll do that later tonight. I'll take a quick video. I'll mix it all up, show you guys. Yeah, I mean, it's simple, quick, easy, simple stuff. And we'll spray everything down, get it a super good coating, let it set it overnight, and I'm going to recover everything back up, and then just keep an eye on it. Okay, they tell you anytime you are going to spray your plants with anything, test it on a spot on the plant first, or a plant just like it somewhere first, okay? So you don't damage your crop. I've done this enough times to know that what I'm going to apply and mix, and doing it at night, and then pulling this cover up and over come tomorrow will be fine, okay? Because you are coating these leaves with oil. Now that oil is going to stay on those leaves, okay? It won't be as damaging the prior day as it would be if I applied it right now in the sun. It would damage these plants would end up probably dying. They might pull through because of the biology and everything is so good and strong here, but a good chance that you're definitely gonna take away from your final crop for sure. So that's where I'm at there. I noticed a little bit of damage on some of my lettuce here, and a little bit bigger bites. So I gotta look into that. There is a little bit of, I'm really not seeing anything for the pinpricks. You know, they don't tend to like the lettuce, I guess, which is fine, because I mean, you don't want a piece of lettuce on your sandwich that looks like that, right? Now, okay, now look at this, guys, okay? Definitely not the flea beetle. Look in the center of this hole by my thumb. See that slime trail right there? And see the slime refracting in that hole? Right there, see that? So probably slugs. Probably got slugs. I mean, slugs are a big ordeal here because we're surrounded by woods. We've got the brook on 2 sides of me, and they just obviously love gardens, right? So I have a trick for that. I'm going to take and bury like a glass in here, like a cup, and I'm going to put maybe a 1/2 inch of beer, okay? Beer. Now, when we clean out homes for doing like our resales and stuff and our eBay stuff, we come across so much liquor that I literally box liquor up and sell it to people that drink for like 20 bucks a box. Like, and they get like a couple $100 worth of liquor, a bunch of different beers and stuff. Just because I don't mess with liquor, and I figure I got to get rid of it somehow. I'm legally not supposed to really be selling it, I guess, probably. I don't know. It gets sold to me, so why can't I sell it off to somebody? I don't know. I never really looked into it, but either way, I'm going to bury a glass in here, what are they? They must be like 1 cup mason jars or 2 cup mason jars or something. I'll bury it in here, and I'll put like a 1/2 inch of beer in there. I think it's the carbon dioxide that the like beer and yeast put off, or maybe it's just the smell of the beer and the yeast, that the slugs would rather go to there, and they'll fall in the beer and drown, and that'll take care of your problem. And look at right here, okay? Look at that right there, okay? That's my problem right there. All right. So I'm going to take care of that too. And the chickens and ducks, my ducks don't, I think it's because they're like, if you ever touch these, like how they're so slimy and have like this stickiness that kind of stays with you. My birds don't like to eat those at all. Snails, my ducks will chow snails. You throw them a snail that's in a shell, and literally they grab it and instantly spit it right back out. But somehow I think they use their tongue or something, they're able to pull the snail out of that shell like that fast. The minute they grab it, poof, they spit it right back out and it's empty. So they've got some little way that they must use their tongue or something to like very quickly scoop out the snail out of the shell. Yeah, scaly bug. I'm pretty sure that's a scaly bug. Or a potato bug, maybe? Maybe a potato bug, scaly bug, or a potato bug? I don't know. All right, well, I got a little bit of work to do. Sun's going behind some clouds. We are supposed to get some heavy downpours that just went across the Midwest. What's today? Thursday? Yeah, today's Thursday. So yeah, yesterday, Midwest, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, the states out that way, they got hammered with a really bad storm. High winds. And I'm noticing, boy, this isn't, why are these guys dipping here? Look at them down curl. New growth has a little bit of yellowing to it. There's some more flowers we can rip off right there. Boy, I believe they have enough moisture and water. I don't think that's any type of problem. I gotta come in and pull a few more of my weeds and stuff here, get some more of this stuff gone. But yeah, I mean, the soil is good and damp and wet everywhere. And then like, especially with the boards, that holds moisture down and down this edge right now. So I have to see why they like to down curl like that. It might be missing a nutrients and stuff. There's a good chance this bed could be eating up its supply and needs a new supply. But all right, let's see. So we got that taken care of. Carrots are doing great. And then I don't know if you guys have ever done the toilet paper planting there, where you take like, say, like a 2-ply toilet paper, open the ply up, and in between sprinkle your seeds, your carrot seeds. You sprinkle them out like so they're not grouped up, because when you're in the ground like this and you're trying to put them out, that you can't really see them. You don't know exactly where they are. Like you can see how this is like wicked grouped up, but some of these other ones are placed out a little bit better, you know, so they can have more room to grow. So if you kind of plant your toilet paper with your pattern or however you want, you put the second ply back on top and just wet it down so the plies stick back together with the seeds in the middle. And then you just, like here, I put 2 pieces. So there's 2-ply and a 2-ply there with, I don't know, maybe like 20 seeds or so. So I just got to make sure this stays damp for the next week. And it's been in here for a week now, so we might already be seeing, this might be one already starting to try to push. But they should be starting to push any day. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed on the flea beetles, but it's inevitable. They're gonna come. They want to eat too. Broccoli is rhubarb is going crazy. This right here, this leaf right here is like 3 feet, guys. That's like 3 feet across. That thing is a huge monster. I need to actually chop that one down and get it out of here. Look how fat that is. I don't really find that good, even if you were to bake that down. Maybe if you're just to pull the juice from it, would be fine. Yeah, that's just a little too big for me, even in the pies and stuff. So then, let's look. Flea beetles over here, not as bad, but you can see the damage here, guys, okay? There's some flea beetle damage there. All right, let's go look at some other things. All right, you can see how far behind we are right here. Like, what's the old saying, knee high by July for your corn? And what are we, like 6 inches out of the ground, 4 to 6 inches out of the ground? So that's That's gonna be tough there. Corn, it ends up producing, but it's not like corn down by the river, you know, down in the cornfields, wide open all day long. Ours will grow shorter. We'll get 2 years, sometimes 3 off a stalk, but string beans, green beans, whatever you want to call them, Kentucky beans. Those should be popping any day. We should be seeing them push through any day now if we're not already seeing. This might be one here already starting to push, actually. You can see the dirt. See how this dirt's raised up? There's a good chance there's probably a seed under here. Yep. See? Okay. Just sprinkle that back over the top there. So yeah, they're coming up now. So another day or two and these rows will start filling in. And then I can go and plant in a couple weeks. You can't hear, because the soil is cold for so long, you can't plant your plants out like early in the season. You can't spread them out a couple weeks apart because the soil is too cold. The soil is the variable. You got to wait till the soil's warm enough. You'll plant, say, one crop, say early in the spring, and then you'll wait, say, 2-3 weeks, plant the same crop again, so that way it spaces it out when you go to harvest. Well, because the soil's so cold that the first set you put in is barely even going. The second set you put in 2-3 weeks later, now the soil's a little bit warmer and they're able to grow at the speed they are designed to grow at, so they end up catching right up to the first set, and then you've got both of them ready at the same time. Got to wait and space them out a little bit longer and wait till the soil warms up a little bit better. Oh, look at this. We got ants on this flower here. I don't know if you can see them. They're crawling around. Ants bring aphids. Okay. And I'm not sure. That's what I'm seeing there, okay? Look at this. See the little green? Looks like dots and bumps. Those are aphids, okay? Ants will bring the aphids down into their nest, keep them there for the winter. And then come springtime, they bring them back out so the aphids can come suck on your plants and crops, poop out some good sugary poop, and the ants harvest their poop and bring it back. They work as a team. So this is something where, like diatomaceous earth, that would be actually, that's another for your flea beetles on your potatoes. You could use diatomaceous earth. Now it's a little bit tougher to get your plants, say, fully coated, and you gotta have dry weather where there's no rain, and then like your moisture and dew at night and in the morning. So DE is a little bit tougher, but it can be used. But DE for something like this, the DE would kill those aphids like right out of the gate. Soft-bodied insect, the DE is so sharp, like sharp glass, and it's just going to cut them up and destroy them and dry them right out. So if I put a little bit of diatomaceous earth on here, they would die and leave and not come back. So that means they're going to go somewhere else. And you got to be careful as to where they're going to go, because anytime you have damage to your plants, you're going to slow down the process of vegetative growth or their blooming growth of when they're ready to flower and fruit. I got to come in here. This is my new asparagus bed. It's going to take a couple years, a few years, many years to get this filled in and loaded and looking like it should. My asparagus in my normal garden was disrespected by others and destroyed. So now I'm left with no asparagus for a few years, which really sucks. I love asparagus. These plants here, some people would be like, oh, they kind of look like tomato plants. You know, they got the fuzzy stem. They got similar leaf structure. You know, normally with tomatoes, you see a few of the little bumps on the edges here. These here are stinging nettle. Okay, stinging nettle. When these get a little bit bigger, you touch these stalks here on the side, or they touch your delicate skin, and it'll just sting. You can keep stinging. But, okay, stinging nettle, you can feel the stalk here. It's got like a square feel to it, okay? Your tomato plants will not. Your tomato plants are going to have more of a round feel to it. These have a distinct square. You can feel it. You can feel your four sides, okay? Stinging nettle. Some would call it a nuisance. Some use these plants for medicinal purposes. And there's a lot of good and bad with stinging nettle. You just gotta pick your poison. Personally, I don't do much with it. I will pull it and toss it over the bank and let it do its thing there. Now I got a bunch here I got to pull, but I just want to be a little more careful because it's one of my asparagus, a couple of my asparagus roots in there from from last year, the year before, maybe 2 years ago. I'm just letting them grow up and flower and do their thing. I'm just gonna keep letting them do that. I believe that's what I should be doing. You can see I've got some up here in my onions here. I pushed my onions just a little too far, I guess, but that's fine. There's another one there, but they should be sending up more and more shoots, I think and believe. But yep, stinging nettle, square stalk. Okay. All right, so let's go back over to the potatoes here for a minute. Okay, potato beetles, flea beetles. Something, yeah, flea beetles, whatever you want to call them. Here they are. Here's a good little group of them there. Okay. Now, diatomaceous earth would piss them off. Now, you could dust this. I guess you could find a way to kind of dust this, but it's tough. You know, like diatomaceous earth needs dryness. I use diatomaceous earth. I'll dig holes for where the chickens like to bathe in the sand, and I'll fill it in like a 50-50 mix of diatomaceous earth with sand. So they go over there whenever they're bathing in the sand and stuff. They don't realize they're getting coated in diatomaceous earth, which I've never had any I'm having a brain fart right now. The pests that chicken get, like lice. It's like body lice and head lice. I forget what it's called right now off the top of my head. But we have never had an issue ever when we use diatomaceous earth. There was a year, many decades ago, that I wasn't using diatomaceous earth, and I'd bought some birds from Runnings and brought home, and they had mites. There we go, mites. They had mites on them. Didn't realize it. Didn't check them well enough. Didn't know to even check them before I stuck them with my my other crops, my other birds, and it spread across the birds. And then something like that, when it's in their homes, like literally each bird had to get like numerous like diatomaceous earth baths, and then every single thing taken out of their pens. And I went through with one of those big, huge propane weed burners that sends out that monster friggin' flame. It's got a big tip on it that's like 3-4 inch tip on it, and went in there and just burnt down every single thing I possibly could. Ran that super high blasting flame all over the coop in every single spot possible. After I'd taken everything out, all the insulation was out, all the you know, poop and like hay and straw and stuff, all that stuff was out of there, and I was just going over the wood inside and out. And I did that 2 different times over the course of like 2 days. I did it one day, gave it a day, and went back and did it a second day, hoping that anything that was down in the cracks and crevices is now come out. And like there was times when sections of it would kind of catch on fire, and that's just part of it. You got to burn these things out. They lay their eggs in the cracks and crevices, and yeah, you might get all the ones that are alive, but it's the eggs that will come back and bite you in a week, you know. So many decades ago, haven't had an issue since, because I look at the birds very well before they get introduced into any of my flocks. And I also allow them to have a diatomaceous earth bath for them to use whenever they want. Like we're going to get rain tonight, so I know that bath area is going to get destroyed. It needs to be dry wherever you do it. So your birds are going to find the dry, sandy spot, because that's what they like. They want that sandy dust, the dry, sandy dust, because that's what they're doing. They're fluffing it and getting it all over themselves, because it helps take care and control pest issues, okay? So if you see your birds doing it more than normal, then you need to be checking them. Easy way to check them is to look at their buttholes, right? One of the easiest ways. Legs and buttholes, okay? That's where the least amount of feathers are. Legs and buttholes. But, okay. Enough of that. Ramble jam. I'm a squirrel sometimes. Potatoes. I'm going to spray them tonight with neem oil. Cold pressed neem oil. About a teaspoon and a half mixed into 1 quart of water with about a teaspoon of dish soap. Dawn, Joy, Dr. Bronner's. Dr. Bronner's is really, really good, but costs a few extra dollars, right? So it doesn't have to be anything special. The soap is to help emulsify the oil into the water and to allow it to stay mixed together and not separate. And then you got to come in here, guys, and you got to start at the bottom. And you've got to start on the underneath, okay? Because once you put that water and oil weight on here, these are all going to lay down. And it's going to be such a pain in the butt to try to get the backsides, okay? Now, don't worry if you break any of these stems off by accident, you know, moving things around, trying to do whatever. You find something that has, like, say, a ton of eggs on it, rip that off. Get rid of it. Don't put it in your compost, okay? Have yourself a little burn pile or a little burn bin that you can burn, okay, the bad stuff. Get it gone. Or have yourself some sort of system that works for you, okay, to get it gone. But that's the plan. I'm going to do it tonight. That way the sun can't refract with the oil and burn the living crap out of my plants, because you definitely don't want to be doing this first thing in the morning or midday, before the sun rises and stuff gets on them. You'll destroy your plants. So I'm going to do it tonight. I'll come out in the morning and I'll check them. And if you never use neem or say like Karanja oil, I don't even think you really even have to use those. You could probably use like a vegetable or canola oil too, if that's what you have. You'd have to look it up and see. I'm sure, because it's the same idea. You're looking just to smother things with the oil. And with the neem, you'll smell the neem. It has a distinct smell to it. And pests just, once they realize they don't like the taste of it and they don't like the smell of it, they move on. So they're going to tell you to make sure you spray, you know, a spot on your plant and test it, or spray a plant and test it and check it. If you've never done it before, I suggest you do that so you understand how the product works and how you're applying it, and whatever you're doing at the times that you're doing it work for you. And you'll have beautiful potatoes. I'm going to go back through and finish pulling flowers off that I see, and go find my gear for tonight and get it prepared. The water, it's oil, so you're going to want like a warm water. You don't want a hot water, okay? No hot water. But it's got to be warm enough to where you're not gelling up the oils, okay? If your house is really, really cold, your bottle of neem might be a solid chunk. You might have to warm it up a little bit to get it to flow like a liquid. I couldn't tell you a temperature on say warm water. Just whatever you feel is warm, you know. If it's hotter than your wrist, you put your wrist under it, just like you'd check for like a baby or a kid or something, right? If it's warmer than that, then it's too warm. Your temperature or less, but not cold enough to where it's going to gel up the oil. But there we go. A couple little tips and tricks. You can see how the gardens are doing this year. They're getting there. They're starting to take off. Just the beginning of the season, so many, many months to go here. But things will definitely be really, really good this year, I feel. I feel it's going to be a really good setup this year. And figuring out the different spots where things are liking it better with the amount of sun that they get and don't get. So anyways, Southern VT, peace, much love.